I caught my cheating wife through a spy app. The truth destroyed me. My name is Daniel, and I'm 42 years old. I'd been married to my wife, Emily, for 12 years, and we had two beautiful kids together, Sophie, 9, and Liam, 6. Emily and I met at a tech conference in San Francisco when we were both starting out in the software industry. I was a developer, and she was a project manager, and we bonded over our shared love of coding, sci-fi movies, and late-night pizza runs. We built a life together that I thought was rock solid, a cozy house in the suburbs, family vacations to Disneyland, and a partnership I believed was unbreakable. But all of that came crashing down when I discovered the truth about Emily through a spy app, and what I found destroyed me. It started about 6 months ago. Emily had been acting off for a while, distant, irritable, always on her phone. She'd snap at me over little things, like forgetting to take out the trash, and she started going out more often, claiming she was meeting friends from work for drinks. I tried to brush it off as stress. She'd recently taken on a big project at her company, and I knew the long hours were taking a toll. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. One night after the kids were asleep, I asked her if everything was okay between us. She was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone, and she barely looked up. "I'm fine, Dan," she said, her tone clipped. "Just tired. Can we not do this right now?" Her dismissiveness stung, and I couldn't help but notice how she angled her phone away from me, like she didn't want me to see the screen. That was the moment my suspicion turned into paranoia. I'm not proud of what I did next, but I felt like I had no choice. I'm a tech guy. I know my way around apps and software, so I decided to install a spy app on her phone. I found one online that could track her messages, calls, and location without her knowing. I told myself I was just ruling out my fears, that I'd find nothing and feel silly for doubting her. I installed the app late one night while she was asleep, syncing it to my laptop so I could monitor everything in real time. I felt guilty, but my need for the truth outweighed my shame. The first few days I didn't find much, just work emails, texts to her sister, and a group chat with her coworkers. I started to relax, thinking I'd been paranoid for nothing. But then, on the 4th day, I saw a new contact pop up in her messages. Alex. The name didn't ring a bell. Emily had never mentioned an Alex before. I opened the conversation, and my heart sank. The messages were intimate, flirty, and unmistakably romantic. Alex had written, "Last night was incredible. Can't stop thinking about you." Emily replied, "You're making me blush. I can't wait to see you again." They talked about meeting up at a hotel downtown the next time I was out of town for a work trip. There were photos, too. Selfies of Emily in a low-cut dress, smiling at the camera, with captions like, "For you." Alex sent back heart eyes emojis and suggestive comments that made my stomach churn. I sat there at my desk, staring at my laptop screen, feeling like the ground had been ripped out from under me. My wife, the woman I'd loved for over a decade, the mother of my children, was having an affair. I scrolled through more messages, each one a fresh stab to my heart. They'd been seeing each other for at least 3 months, meeting up during her work drinks, and even sneaking around while I was at home with the kids. One message from Emily read, "Dan's clueless. He thinks I'm working late again tonight. See you at 8?" I didn't know what to do. Part of me wanted to storm into the living room where Emily was watching TV and confront her right then and there. But I needed more proof. I needed to catch her in the act, to see it with my own eyes. The spy app had a GPS tracker, so I decided to follow her the next time she said she was going out. 2 nights later, Emily told me she had a work event and wouldn't be home until late. She kissed me on the cheek, said, "Don't wait up," and left, looking more dressed up than I'd seen her in months. High heels, a tight dress, her hair curled. I waited until she was gone, then checked the app. Her location showed her heading downtown, straight to the hotel she and Alex had mentioned in their texts. I called my sister to watch the kids, telling her I had an emergency, and drove to the hotel, my hands shaking on the steering wheel. When I got there, I parked across the street and watched the entrance. Sure enough, I saw Emily walk in, her arm linked with a tall, good-looking guy I assumed was Alex. They were laughing, completely oblivious to the world around them. I felt like I was going to be sick, but I forced myself to follow them inside. The lobby was busy, so I blended in, keeping my distance. I saw them head to the bar where they sat close, his hand on her thigh, her head resting on his shoulder. It was like watching a stranger, someone who wasn't my wife, the mother of my children. I couldn't take it anymore. I walked up to their table, my heart pounding in my chest. "Emily," I said, my voice low but firm. She looked up and her face went white. Alex pulled his hand away, looking confused, but Emily knew exactly who I was. "Dan, what are you doing here?" she stammered, her voice trembling. "I could ask you the same thing," I said, pulling out my phone and showing her the spy app's interface, the messages between her and Alex still open on the screen. "I know everything, Emily. I've known for days." She burst into tears, covering her face with her hands. Alex stood up, mumbling something about leaving us to talk, and walked away, clearly not wanting to get involved. The bar was crowded, but I didn't care who heard us. "How could you do this to me? To our kids?" I asked, my voice breaking. 12 years, Emily. 12 years, and you throw it away for this guy?" She tried to explain, her words coming out in a rush. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she sobbed. "I was feeling overwhelmed. Work, the kids, everything. Alex was there, and he made me feel special. It was a mistake, Dan, I swear. I love you." Her words felt hollow. I couldn't look at her without seeing those messages, imagining her with him, lying to me night after night. I turned and walked out of the hotel, leaving her crying at the table. I drove home in a daze, my mind racing with a million thoughts. How was I going to tell the kids? What would happen to our family? Could I ever trust her again? The next few weeks were a nightmare. Emily moved out to her sister's place, and we started the process of separating. I told her I couldn't forgive her, not after what I'd seen, not after the lies. She begged for a second chance, saying she'd end things with Alex and go to therapy, but the damage was done. I couldn't unsee the way she looked at him, the way she smiled in those photos, the way she'd betrayed me so effortlessly. I also had to deal with the fallout with the kids. Sophie, our 9-year-old, kept asking why Mommy wasn't home, and I didn't know how to explain it without breaking her heart. Liam, at 6, didn't fully understand, but he'd cry at night, asking for her. I felt like a failure as a father, unable to protect them from this pain. I started therapy to help me cope, and I've been working on being the best dad I can be. But the betrayal still haunts me. It's been 4 months since that night at the hotel. Emily and I are in the middle of a divorce, and she's still with Alex, which hurts more than I can say. I deleted the spy app. I couldn't bear to look at it anymore, but the truth it uncovered will stay with me forever. I thought I knew my wife, thought I knew our life, but I was wrong. The truth destroyed me, but I'm slowly picking up the pieces for myself and for my kids. One day, I'll heal. Until then, I'm taking it one day at a time.